Have you ever felt like someone slowly started asking for more from you, not all at once, but little by little? At first, it feels normal. A small request, a small favor, a small compromise. You don't think much of it. You agree, it's not a big deal. But then it happens again, and again. And each time the request gets slightly bigger, slightly more uncomfortable, slightly more personal. And before you realize it, you're doing things you normally wouldn't do. And the strange part is, you don't even remember when it started changing. That's because it didn't happen suddenly. It happened gradually. This is something most people experience at some point in their lives, but very few actually recognize while it's happening. Because on the surface, it doesn't look like manipulation. It looks like normal interaction. It looks like helping someone, adjusting for someone, being understanding. But underneath that, something else is happening. Your limits are being tested. Now here's the important part. People don't usually cross your boundaries in one step. If someone suddenly asks too much from you, you'll notice it immediately. You'll feel uncomfortable. You'll probably say no. So instead, it happens in layers. First, something small, then slightly more, then a little more. And each time you say yes, something changes in their mind. They learn where your boundary is. And more importantly, they learn how flexible it is. Let's bring this into a real-life situation. Imagine someone asks you for a small favor. Maybe something simple, something that doesn't cost you much. You say yes. It feels normal. A few days later, they ask for something slightly bigger. It requires a bit more time, a bit more effort. You hesitate for a second, but then you agree again. Now something has been established. They've learned that you are willing to adjust. Next time, the request becomes even bigger. Maybe it starts affecting your own priorities. Maybe it makes you uncomfortable. But because you've already said yes before, saying no now feels harder. And that's the moment where the pattern becomes powerful. Because now, it's not just about the request. It's about your behavior. You've been slowly trained to accept more than you normally would. And this doesn't just happen in favors. It happens in conversations. It happens in relationships. It happens in workplaces. Let's talk about relationships. At the beginning, everything feels balanced, respectful, equal. But over time, small things start changing. Maybe they interrupt you more often. At first, it's small. You ignore it. It's not a big deal. Then they start dismissing your opinion slightly. Not directly, but subtly. You notice it, but you don't react. Then they start expecting you to adjust more, to agree more, to give in more. And slowly, your voice becomes smaller. Not because you chose it, but because the environment changed around you. And the reason it changed is because your limits were being tested step by step. Now here's something even more interesting. Sometimes this doesn't even look negative. It looks like closeness. It looks like trust. It looks like someone getting comfortable with you. But there's a difference between comfort and control. Comfort respects your boundaries. Control slowly pushes them. Now let's bring this into a workplace example. A colleague asks you to help with a small task. You agree, it's normal. Then they start depending on you more. They ask again, then again. Eventually, you're doing part of their work. And at that point, it feels strange to suddenly say no. Because now there's an expectation. And that expectation didn't appear suddenly. It was built slowly. This is how limits are tested, not by force, but by repetition. Now let's go deeper into why this works. The human brain is designed to stay consistent with its past behavior. If you've said yes before, your brain feels pressure to stay consistent. Saying no suddenly feels uncomfortable, even if it's the right thing to do. And people who understand this use it. Not always consciously, but effectively. They don't push hard, they push gradually. And gradual pressure is much harder to notice, because there's no clear moment where you can say, "This is wrong." It just slowly becomes normal. Now think about this. Is there someone in your life who slowly asks for more than others? Someone who makes you adjust more? Someone who makes you feel like saying no is difficult? If yes, then you're not imagining it. You're experiencing a pattern. And the first step to breaking any pattern is recognizing it. Because once you see it, you start questioning it. You start noticing when something feels slightly uncomfortable. You stop ignoring those small signals. And most importantly, you give yourself permission to respond differently. Now here's something very important. Setting limits doesn't mean being aggressive. It doesn't mean creating conflict. It simply means being aware of what you're comfortable with, and not slowly moving beyond it without noticing. Because the moment you stop noticing, that's when others start defining your limits for you. And once that happens, your control starts decreasing. But the moment you become aware again, everything shifts. You start making conscious decisions. You start choosing when to say yes. You start choosing when to step back. And slowly, your sense of control returns. Because your limits were never actually gone. They were just being moved without you realizing it. And once you see that clearly, it becomes much harder for anyone to do it again. If this made you reflect on your own experiences, then you're already becoming more aware. And awareness is what protects your boundaries. If you found this helpful, like the video and subscribe for more insights into human behavior and psychological patterns. And I want to ask you something. Have you ever felt like someone slowly kept asking more from you until it became uncomfortable? Share your experience in the comments. Your story might help someone else recognize the same pattern.